All right, what is up? So I recently just got this hatchet online, right? I bought it and I tested it out, and I'll show you what I did with that. I basically just went out to the woods and you know hit it on, chopped like a dead tree down, and was just kind of using it to shave the bark and kind of shape the wood a little bit. And I got this one because it's like a thinner head to it. It's better for just kind of removing material a lot quicker. I think if I wanted to make um, uh, wedges or anything like that, like there's this one video that I did where I was making boards and I was talking about it took me a really long time to make this wedge. And that's because I just didn't have the right tool for the job. I think if I had this one rather than the hatchet that I have had in the past, which is a wider head and more for splitting wood rather than like just removing material, it would have gone a lot faster and would have been pretty darn easy. Now that I've had this one and used it and saw how easy it was, but now we have it. But I like the hatchet, but what I don't like is all that I got for it is just this little rubber thing to protect the. I'm doing a terrible job getting this in frame. Edge here, and it honestly, like this part here, like I guess it's not that sharp, but there's like a little bit of a tip here, and it's already starting to poke out on the bottom, so that's no good. So I figured, maybe I could make my own thing for it, but all I've got is I made like a belt for like a very simple belt for Halloween for my costume, and this is leftover stuff from my costume from Halloween that I made, so we're gonna try and make a little cover for our thing here. The vision right now is it'll be something like that, and then maybe I will get rid of this one here. I might cut that away. That might be too much. Or maybe I'll leave it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we'll do that, and then ideally we will kind of tie this through and then have it so that it kind of like loops on the back here so that I can put it on and then it'll like stay on here, and then I can also just unloop it, take it off, and then we're good to go. How well this will work, I don't actually know. We're going to put some of this on the inside for protection here. We'll see what happens. If not, and it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But I figured it would be cool to give it a shot. So that's what we're going to do. But first we got to, do some shaping of this here. I don't know exactly how well this is going to work, to be honest. So we're really just winging it. I haven't done anything like this before, but I figured now's as good as time as any. But I figure we'll need one for there, and then we'll need maybe like there's a tiny part here, so we can have like another part coming up there. I don't know. Like that. So then, we got our two pieces here, and they'll connect something like that, and then the hatch will just sit in there like that, and then, yeah, and then it'll be good. So they said if I wet this and then I just kind of clamp it down, it'll maintain its shape when it dries. So we're going to do that. So this will either be a video that I start now and then continue tomorrow, or I'll do it later tonight, depending on how fast it dries and kind of holds its shape. All right, so this is just a bowl of hot water from my sink here, and I don't even know if this is real leather. So this whole strategy may be unnecessary and a little pointless, but I'm just going to try and get this soaked up and I'll let it sit in here for a little bit. My quick research said, just looking it up on Google, said about 10 minutes or so soaking might be good. So we'll see how this goes. And hopefully we can get it to shape how we want to. But I'm just going to try and get it started now while it's a little bit more supple maybe. And then we'll let it sit and see what happens. I might have some like little clips I could use to kind of keep it pinched while it's sitting in here. So maybe be more encouraged. These are just like little clips that are usually on like bread bags. So we'll see if this works to hold them. Like that. Yeah, we'll have to do 3 on them. On this one at least. So I'll do 3, so it's gonna sit there bent like that, and then I got 1, but I'll get another one for this. I just kind of grabbed that. Like, you never know what you're gonna use them for, so I saved a bunch of these just in case. And now, here's the perfect opportunity to use them, I guess. So there we go. So we'll let these soak in here for, I don't know, I guess 10 minutes, and then I'll take them out, and I'm gonna leave them pinched like that, and maybe I'll put even weight on them. We'll see. And then let them sit and dry for maybe an hour, or we'll just see when they start drying. And then when they're a little bit drier, then we'll move on to, I guess, the next phase. I don't need them to be like completely pinched, as long as they just kind of keep the bend a little bit once I, put it in here, and I guess I'm gonna have to sew it onto the fabric. Once I've sewed that together, the whole thing in theory should maintain its shape. In theory, of course. So we'll see what happens. But, yep, I will check back when we move on to something else, I guess. Alright, so these have been sitting here now in the water. I actually wasn't timing it, so I don't know exactly how long it's been, but they've been soaking for probably at least 10 minutes at this point. And so I'm just giving them a little bend here. And then I don't know, I might let them go a little longer. Nah, what the heck. We'll just take it out now. Towel, take it out. And we'll just set them to dry. Right on there. And we'll let them, I guess, dry now. We'll see how long that takes. I'm not sure. Alright. I want to apologize for 2 things. 1, that the laundry machine is going. I'm doing laundry right now. But 2, that I got a little ahead of myself when I got started. So that's not fully dry, but I figured I would just it's dry enough. I'll start kind of working my way through here. So I put it down in the middle, and then I started sewing. I doubled up the thread, so it's actually really more like a quad thread. So that's a bit sturdier. And then what I'm doing now is I just started on the inside, so that's not exposed. That'll be on the inside here, kind of tucked away. And then I went out, and then I came back in. And that's as far as I've gotten. But I realized that I wasn't recording, and I was just kind of moving along. So in order to avoid the loss of continuity in the progress here, I figured I would get back to recording. But pretty much I'm just going back and forth, trying to keep the spacings maybe like a 1/4 inch in between. And I don't have like a thimble or something to help me push this through. So I'm using just a bit of the extra material that I had to help me get through here and then back out the other side. Then we gotta pull it out on this side. Oh. Took off one of my little things holding it in place. But I think it is holding its shape now. So that did end up working. We'll see if it continues to hold it when it's dry. But for right now, it does seem to have worked. So that's good. And this is probably not going to be as straight as I would like it to be. But we'll try and make it look somewhat professional here. Going. Let's push it back through. Probably just seeing a lot of my head in the way, but we're just needle and thread. Put the string through. Make sure it doesn't knot itself up, which it looks like it is. Stop that from happening. Very good. Boom. And like I said, that's not exactly a straight line that we've got going there. If you can see that. But it's good enough. I'm the only one that's really going to look at it other than, this video. So, what are you going to do? A couple of factors, but we're making it work. Slow progress. But pretty much that's what's going on. See, I'm just pulling it through. Not that looked like I did anything there, but oh well. And now you can see you've got focus. It's not focusing at all. It's because it's so bright. But I've got stitches there. It's whatever. I'll show you the final product. Basically, I'm going to do that on all the way down this side. Then I'm probably going to tie that off. Get a new thing of thread going. And do the other side. And then I'm going to do that for the bottom piece here. I'll do that for this little bottom piece here. Put that in place. And I'm probably going to try and actually kind of just put this in here. So that it's just one piece, and then I'll maybe try and get... yeah, no, actually I probably won't do that because that's where the blade's going to be, but I'm going to try and put these in kind of combined together, and then I'll sew this separately here on the bottom. And then it should be pretty well concealed in there. Maybe something like that. Now it should be good. And then, yeah, it's going to go up more actually, so I want it to be more like a V. But yeah, so I'll show you, I'll just show you when I've got some more progress going, so you don't have to listen to me babble. All right, so here we are. So we've got, as I said, we got our you know, piece of canvas, I guess, here. This was like the bottom of like the pants, but they were too long, so I just snipped there. I'm gonna have to do something about this fraying at the top, maybe. We'll see what we can do about that. But I don't know if you can see those stitches that I did across. And then on the other side, we got our stitches going down. And then on the inside, you can see we got it stitched on there. So now the hatchet will go in and sit something like that. And then we'll have the other piece come up from the bottom like that. So then I'll put it in kind of something. I'll be able to just boop. And then close over. And then I'll use this cord here to probably cut this in half. I have one that goes from the top and loops down, one that comes from the here and loops up over the top or something, and then that'll secure it, hopefully. If not, we'll figure it out when we get there. But that's our progress so far. We got the first bit in. So because it's still wet, and now I'm probably going to call it for the night, I'm just going to fold this back over, and then I'm going to clamp these. Well, I'm going to pinch these with the bread tie things here for the night, just so that it dries in a way that is still bent. It doesn't really need to be super bent, but I would like it to maintain its form if I can help it. There's one more. This way it'll just look a little cleaner if it keeps this form. And I don't know if they'll dry out and then not keep their form, but it looks like it's been working. As I was kind of sewing through, I took these off and it didn't just immediately open up. So it looks like it's working to me. So we're gonna just leave it like this for the rest of the night. Let these two things dry out. And then tomorrow, when I get back from work, we'll pick up where I left off and finish attaching it all together, and then hopefully I'll be able to show you the final product. Alright, welcome back. As you can see, I haven't gotten much farther than I was, I don't think, but what I did was I went to work today, and while I was at work, I just I decided to put this in here like that, and then I just put like a little notebook on top of it just to hold it down. But the leather is basically dry now, as you can see. It's not, even if I just, obviously can't say, okay, I'm just holding it straight, like I'm not even supporting it at all, and it is keeping its shape, and it doesn't look like it's even trying to bend there, so that's a good sign. So I'm going to take the clips off of this one. As you can see, I took the clips off. It's not even trying to open up. Actually, it's actively resisting me opening it, as you can see here. So wetting it and bending it while it dried definitely worked. So good to know that my quick Google search worked out. But so pretty much what we got left here is I want to do something like that. So let's line this up so we can see what we're doing. I want to do something like that, and then I just something here, I'm thinking, and then if we want, and then it could kind of fall down into this. Let's take a peek. Yeah. And then it can just kind of sit in there if it wanted to. Or maybe I want to move it up even higher so that it's more like up here. Something like that, maybe. Did I not really move it much? I don't know. yeah. And then it'll be like that. Have this folded over. And then I think I'm gonna have to do some kind of fold down like this, because I gotta get rid of that fraying somehow, and I'll have to sew along this top here as well. Just so that this... But I want to be able to use this eye at the top. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of winging it here. Yeah. You know, I don't know if it really matters. I might just leave it. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good idea. All right. So let's go ahead and I guess get started with this part here. Which I'll do something like that. And then we'll think about what we're gonna do up there eventually. Yeah, we will think about it, but we will start off as we have been starting off with going through here. And I gotta use this. And basically I'm now going to do what I did here for this part. I'm gonna try and do it like I set up on upward angle. Do I need that there? I'm gonna say yeah, I do. I don't really know. And we're gonna go from there. So I'll show you some progress when I got it, but that's what we're doing. All right, we got the first side done, but now this is really the tricky part here, because now it's pretty much all closed up and we're making basically a pocket and trying to keep this lined up and getting in here and getting the needle through and then back out in the right spot on the cloth is not the easiest. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what's the best method, because as you can see, I'm blind on that side, so I can't really do it like that. So I gotta do something like this, but it is definitely not ideal. But we're just gonna work our way up this side now, and then once we got that, we basically are done, at least with this, which is exciting. Try and mark where we want to go back up with our thumb. That looks pretty good. Don't push too hard through, because then you just stab your thumb, so be careful. Just a light prick to get it in the cloth, and then you move your thumb away if you use that method. Although I don't know if it's necessarily the most recommended way to do things. Alright, so I finished, but I realized I basically failed, because the this pointy part here can still sneak out the bottom, because I didn't make it close enough that it stops it before it's harmful. But honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what this strategy, it would have worked even if I made them closer. So my plan now is to just take another piece like this, and I'm not going to even worry about trying to bend this. And I'm just going to put it right in here, like that. And then I'm probably going to try and just sew it in over here, just a bunch of back and forth, because there shouldn't be anything here. So I'm just going to go straight through on both sides, straight through. And then when I get over here where the gap is, that's when I will kind of skip a little bit of area so that it doesn't cut that, and then try and do, in theory, the point shouldn't be over here, so I'll do a couple over here, just maybe like boom, boom, boom through to kind of secure it in on this side. And then that should be good Although eventually this will probably still poke through because, like I said, that is very sharp. So that might be the kind of thing that I'll just have to replace over time. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe that's what we're gonna do because it just didn't work out. And I discovered that I don't really need this top eye up here. These two right here are sufficient. So I am just gonna fold this in and then sew it along to kind of close that off so that's not all frayed at the top here to help for the longevity of it. All right, welcome back. I don't know where I left off with this, to be honest, but I think I talked about sewing it on the bottom here. I didn't end up doing that. And what I did was I just folded it up and I tucked it in between the two pieces I already have there. And in theory, it should just stay. And I think that way, you know, if it does end up piercing through that, it's still going to hold it up at a safe spot when it's up here, or a safer spot. And I could always just replace this part here by just taking it out and putting a new one in if that does happen, or something along those lines. It'll be easier. So I put that in there instead, was easier for me. And then I just kind of sewed this top up. What I noticed when I was doing this was like, oh, I initially was going to use these two and I was going to tie it, but then I couldn't get it out after I had done this. So I just tied this one. So this is kind of like a strap to just hold it on. And then the one that's actually kind of keeping it from falling out on the top side is this one. So I just tucked the excess. This is probably way more than I need, but better to have more than less, I guess. So I tucked that into this loop here, but if I want to take it off, I just unloop that and I can take it out and then boom. And then if I want to put it back in, oops, missed the slot a little bit there. There we go. And then I don't know if I necessarily need to cross it, but I was doing like a cross like this. And then from there, go over, wrap it around on each side, and then I can tuck it in. So it should keep it secure, but it also is a pretty quick release. Is what I'm kind of going for there. And if I needed to, I can still use this side, no problem. Like this can stay on. So yeah, that's what I made. Is it the best? No, but is it functional? Yeah. So that was that. Thanks for watching, I guess.